lesson is the percent proportion. This is found, you can find these problems on page 122 of your textbook. We're going to start out with the vocabulary. The percent proportion is dealing with, let's say, is over of is equal to a percent over 100. Or is over of could be a part over a whole. That's how we're going to set up our problems. So this part here, you need to know. Percent is always out of 100, and our fraction is always a part over a whole, or is over of. Okay, so if you turn to page 122, or in your notes, write this problem. What percent of 25 is 20? Okay, so how we're going to write this out is we're going to look at this. We're going to take out a highlighter, and I could say, well, we don't know the percent because it says what percent. So that's what we're looking for. So that would be our big question because we don't know. But of 25 and is 20. So we know the is, we know the of. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this up. Put our equal sign in there. We always put our percent over 100, and we're pretty much going to set it up like this all the time. Okay, so this is going to be our is over our of. Our is 20. Our of is 25. We don't know the percent. That's what we're trying to find. Oops. That's what we're trying to find. Okay, so what we're going to do is you are going to use cross products, or we're going to cross multiply. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to cross multiply to get our equation. We're going to go 25 times x. I'm going to write that out. 25x is equal to 20, or 100, times 20. Okay, so then go ahead and start to solve. We're going to draw our imaginary line where our equal sign is. That way we can keep things organized and make sure that we're doing the same thing to both sides. 100 times 20, we're going to go ahead and simplify this side first. Okay, so if I have 100 times 20, you can work that out and on your scratch paper if you want to. 100 times 20. Okay, if you know the trick with the zeros, that works out great. 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 0 is 0, and then you have 2, and then you get 2,000. If you don't know the trick with the zeros, there's your scratch work. So we're going to get 2,000 is equal to 25x. Then to solve this, instead of, we look at this and we say, we got to get that x by itself. How do we do that? We divide 25 on both sides. So it's just like solving a proportion. That's what we're doing. It's just in this case, it's the percent proportion because we're solving to find the percent. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to divide 25 into 25. That goes one time, that gets x. And then we just have to figure out, well, how many times does 25 go into 2,000? Okay, well, you take a little bit of scratch work here. And we know that 25 does not go into it does not go into 20, but it goes into 200. Well, how many times does it go into 200? We can try 8 times. 8 times 25, we know is 200. We subtract, we get 0. Bring down the other 0. We know that's going to be 0, 0, 0. Subtract 0. Okay, so the question is what percent of 25 is 20? Well, the answer is going to be 80%. Box my answer. Okay, what you're going to want to do now is you want to pause the video, and you're going to want to go to Go Formative, and you're going to do the first problem on Go Formative. under the percent proportion. And when you're done, come back and you can watch the next problem. Okay, after you got done doing the Go formative, you should be back, and we have another problem, and we're going to set it up the same way. This is found on page 123. It is E. Okay, so it's done the same way. We're going to draw our lines for our proportions and make them equal, and we're going to put our percent over 100, and don't forget we're going to do is over of. Is over of. Okay, so let's look at our problem. Our problem now is 40% of what number is 26? Well, right now we have of what number? So what are we missing? We're missing the of. Therefore, so let's place that X there, because that's what we don't know. Is 26, we know that. So we know the part. And this time we know the percent. So instead of putting percent, we're just going to put 40, because 40 over 100 is a percent. And we're going to put 26 over X. Now once we have this set up, we're ready to cross multiply just like we did before. It's a little bit different because our X or our variable's in a different spot, but we're okay. So go ahead and cross multiply. Okay, so we're going to have on this side, we're going to have 40 times X, and on the other side we're going to have 26 times 100. Okay, so now we're going to continue. We're going to multiply this out. First, draw your line. 26 times 100. Now, I'm going to do the trick with the zeros. This will be 2600. But if you're not sure, go ahead, multiply it out. You get 0, 0, 6. 0, 0, 2. Add them up. 2600 equals 40x. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to divide. If you guessed that correctly, then you are right. We're going to divide 40 on both sides. 40 goes into 40 one time. That gives my x. By itself, that was our goal. So now we have to figure out, well, how many times does 40 go into 2600? Now for some of you that might get confusing. We know that 40 doesn't go into 26. 40 goes into 260, but think of the 4. What times 4 equals something that's close to 26? We know 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 6 is 24, so it would be close. 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 4 is 24. You subtract. We're going to get 20. And now the question is, well, okay, what times 4 equals 20? We know that's 5. Let's see if that works. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 4 is 20. There we go. We get our remainder of 0. That's what we're looking for. So 65 is our answer. And that is not a percent. I don't know why I put that. That is the of. So the question is, 40% of what number is 26? That of what number is 65. Don't make my mistake and put that as a percent, because that's not what we were looking for. Okay, you're going to go ahead now and stop the video, and you're going to go ahead and do the second number, which is number 3 in your book, and Go Formative. And once you're done with Go Formative, don't forget to hit turn in or submit.